Hello, welcome to the post-match pint in association with Purity on the Villa View. Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 2. Wonderful 20 seconds, some of the best 20 seconds I've ever had as a Villa fan. But then after that, not sure it was that great. Joined like last night by Max Stokes from Villa on Tour and also the Villa View regular Neil from For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And Max, I mean, to be fair, the predictions last night were pretty negative. I think you and Dolan both had us to ship through. We've only lost 2-1, but it does feel like another frustrating game.
Yeah, it was. I thought we were okay. It was one of them where different parts of the game we were performing differently. Obviously, what a start. And it was a great goal as well, 20
Yeah, it
seconds
really
in.
was.
It's really great thinking from Tyrone Mings to do that. So it's a ball that we've seen quite a lot, that sort of whipped ball down the line. And Ollie Watkins is always going to run onto those, isn't he? And it's a great goal, the awareness to spray it across. And I said yesterday about McGinn getting further forward is what he does. He scores goals when he gets in those positions. So it was a great start, but like the rest of the first half, Man City just controlled it and they were dominant. And there was only really going to be one winner. I thought, look, we were better in the second half, but it was always going to be one winner, like I said. So disappointing one, but I thought we were okay.
Yeah, the annoying thing is a little bit, Neil, is that we've shot ourselves in the foot really because I can let the first goal go, but the second goal was really poor. And then when we've got the like advantage of having a man more than them, we shoot ourselves in the foot and go down to 10 men as well. And from that point, you just kind of thought there ain't anything going to happen here, and really nothing else happened in the game for us.
Yeah, the two goals were poor. Two goals were my biggest thing with the two goals is that Aston Villa have been really good at protecting that D. I've said it literally. I might as well get a tattoo of it or even put it on my headstone or something when the time comes. But Aston Villa have been really good at protecting the D in front of the box. That's where they've been really good. Foden ghosts into that position and then just basically he gets into that position and then just moves forward and he's there at the penalty spot to pick up to pick that crossfield ball that comes across to him for the first goal. Nobody was really in that position. Second goal then as well, nobody follows Rodri. Nobody follows Rodri. He just kind of continues walking on through the defence and nobody follows him. And some people on Twitter were saying Tyrone Mings should get out there and get the header in there. And in fairness, the commentator was actually correct. Does Martinez really need to come for that, I suppose, at that instance? I don't think he does. But, you know, if somebody just checks Rodri's run, there's no penalty given, obviously, in that instance. But my thing there is that I think when I look back at this game tomorrow, I think I'm going to have a very low grade on somebody like and Marvelous Nakamba. Just I think his positioning was poor tonight, and I think that there was confusion between himself and Douglas Luiz on who was actually supposed to be picking up that central position of protect that D in front of our penalty area. And look, it wasn't too often tonight that there wasn't somebody there, but the two times that there wasn't somebody there was, you know, the two times that they scored. So I think it's a familiar gripe that we have that the two times we switch off and don't come to the pitch of a defensive situation are the two times that we concede, because I know they got a lot of the ball and they had a lot of chances and they had a couple of shots and Martinez made a couple of good saves, but while they had loads of the ball and they were attacking us an awful lot, you know, we were keeping them ahead of us quite a bit, you know, in front of us, and we're letting them pass the ball around and it looked very, very pretty. But you know, they got their two goals and c'est la vie. We couldn't really push on after that because we only had a numerical advantage for 13 minutes. You know, what can you do after that?
Yeah, I mean, Max, obviously none of us are neutrals here, but the best thing about that game by far was Phil Foden. He was absolutely outrageous how good he was. Probably not even playing at his best tonight, but he absolutely ran rings round us, and he was just the best player on the park by a country mile, wasn't he? And sometimes as an opposition, you have to just take your hats off and say, yeah, he was really good tonight. I really enjoyed watching him. I thought he was incredible.
Yeah, I think he's class. And I think we saw pictures on Sky, didn't we, of Jack sat in the stands and he must be thinking, oh, God, I've got worrying about getting back into that England side as well with Jesse Lingard doing well at West Ham as well. Because, like I said, Foden was absolutely class tonight. And for the first goal as well, he just picks up the ball and his first thought is just drive at the defence. And he's so young as well. He just plays with such freedom. He's so good to watch. And I think he's got to be a shoo-in for this England starting 11 in the summer. But yeah, he's so good. And there's a clip of him, isn't there, when that does the rounds on Twitter sometimes of him playing on the streets with his mates. And he just plays like that on the pitch as well. He just plays like that with like so much confidence. And he's a joy to watch. And he was one of the reasons why they were so good tonight at Man City. But yeah, he's a great player, Phil Foden.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the situation where there's not many footballers playing professionally that are older than me nowadays. You're the opposite. Foden's probably one of the only ones that's younger than you, and he's just absolutely smashing it. Absolutely incredible player, as I say, and a joy to watch tonight. Neil, let's go back to the start then. Villa, 20 seconds in, looking like the best team in the world. A really well constructed goal, and as Max said, great to see McGinn in the box. It felt like taking that set piece quickly was something that was really well rehearsed and something we drilled in training, because Matty Targi, I don't know whether you've seen it back, he actually kind of moves the Man City player out of the way so that Mings can ping the ball the way he did. And then Watkins is always a threat, stretching defences. Stones had a bit of a nightmare all night. It was a great ball across. And actually, I think McGinn not catching it cleanly helps him get it in the back of the net.
Yeah, my MO before the game was that I thought that Villa needed to get the ball down the side of John Stones in particular. It's something that he struggles with, is turning around for full back, and I think this is one of the biggest reasons probably why he was converted from a full back into a centre half. Sorry, my hair is in the way. It's getting a bit floppy, a bit Gareth Barry from 1995 floppy style fringe at the moment. But yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons why maybe he was converted from a full back into centre half, is because he's not very comfortable turning around. But look, that ball is beautiful the way it goes down. Watkins comes across him. He has a lot of decisions to make in that instance, and the decision he doesn't take is to put it into the stands, and Watkins gets the ball off him and lays it across the box to McGinn. But as you say, I don't know. You said that he kind of doesn't catch it cleanly. I don't know. I didn't get that from the shot itself, but Ederson was completely cock cold as well. I didn't think the shot was excellent from McGinn either. But look, they go in and look, it's just one of these things whereby I think everybody's wondering what the hell has happened, goalkeeper included. So it's you can catch any team cold, in that aspect, and Villa absolutely did. And I just kind of really wish that maybe I wish that that things kind of went a small bit better for a small bit longer, if that makes sense. And I know everybody's going to say, well, of course you wish they went better for a small bit longer. How about for another 89 minutes and 40 seconds? That would have been great if they went better for that period of time. But it became very inevitable very quickly that Man City were going to score, I think, directly after that goal. And I'm usually the beacon of positivity. And I don't think it was a player problem. I don't think it was a Dean Smith problem. I don't think it was a setup problem. I just think Man City came to play football in that first half. And they probably would have gone on to play even better football in the second half where they went down to 10 men. And it was a case of bring on Aymeric Laporte and kind of just see if Aston Villa can come back and equalise. And unfortunately, we couldn't.
Yeah, we went 1-0 up, and then the graphic pops up on the Sky Sports screen saying points lost from winning positions at home this season. Aston Villa 0, and you think, I don't think that's gonna stay like that tonight. And to be fair, I thought actually we were quite positive after we scored for maybe 5 minutes. You kind of felt like Villa were pushing forward and felt like they could scare Man City, but then it fell into the familiar pattern like Man City games often do, Max, of them just absolutely running riot, keeping the ball. They're on a different planet to us, aren't they? Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. Villa could have done stuff better. Perhaps we were a little bit passive, but all in all, most teams struggle to deal with the way Man City play football.
Yeah, look, I don't think there's any shame in losing to Man City as well. Like, look, last season we lost 6-1, and I know referring to previous seasons isn't the best, but it was an okay result tonight. I think, like you said, sort of 5-10 minutes after we scored, we sort of looked like we had that spring in our step. We had a bit of a boost with us. But that faded quickly when the likes of Mahrez, Bernardo. So, like, I think someone said on Twitter, it looks like they're playing with 15 men. Even when they went down to 10 men, it looked like they were playing with 15 men. They just pop it around so cleanly. They're just so connected to each other. They all know what each other's going to do. You just don't really get that vibe from Villa. Like when we got the ball in the first half, it was sort of panic stations and a misplaced pass there. He's kicking out for a throw in. Our passing tonight was really poor. I think Traoré was guilty of that quite a bit. Just not being sharp and not being on it. And then when you play a side like Man City, you have to be at the top of your game. We weren't at that tonight, and it's disappointing, I know, but we just got to go again on Sunday and hopefully beat them up.
Yeah, Neil, so many players they've got that are good in tight spaces, and we're obviously missing our one player that's absolutely exceptional in tight spaces. Again, I just come back to the different planet thing, that they're so well drilled. I mean, they like Max says, they know exactly where each other are going to be. They fizz every pass in. The first touch is always bang on, and Villa just couldn't live with that, could they?
It's almost as if all their players cost 50 million.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
No, but we're in a week whereby, you know, I certainly have taken the moral high ground as being a fan of a club that didn't want to break away for the Super League, but you
I
know,
mean, we weren't invited, but yeah.
well, we weren't invited, yeah, exactly. But I've been to many a party I wasn't invited to, Dan, and it didn't stop me from making an impression. But it's you know, it's just one of those things whereby like the chasm in football finances are there already, and the chasm in football is there. You know that, but that's why we've been given out all week, is because of the beauty of it. That, you know, on any given day, Villa can go out and beat Liverpool 7-2, or, you know, maybe today could have been different, and a different if we had Jack Grealish, and you know, it's why they play the games, but the financial difference, and the options, I think, is what I'm trying to get at here, that they have was staggering, because, you know, we've said over the 10 games that the Grealish has been out, that, you know, we started off saying we're not a one-man team. Then we kind of come to the kind of Jesus moment and said maybe we are a one-man team in attack. But it's not just Jack Grealish that's out. It's the options were never there in the first place for to be able to really kind of revitalize this attack mid-game. You're only bringing on change of pace players. Like, you bring on Anwar El Ghazi. He's not a grab the game by the scruff of the neck player. He did it for a month in December. You bring on Trezeguet. He did it for one game this season where he grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, but he's very much more a disciplined wing player than he is anything else. You know, we don't have that real maverick. Well, we do have that maverick in Traore, but then he plays a no-look 40-yard pass across the field to somebody that isn't even in the same shirt as him. So, you know, there is just a gulf in talent, and that gulf in talent is brought about by the financial differences between the two clubs. But that's not saying that's taking the whole thing out of context, because Manchester City are, what, they're 12, 13 years into their project, and Aston Villa are really 18 months to 2 years into their project. So we're at different stages in our projects too, as well. And I think when you look at kind of the clubs that were looking to break away, they all felt that they were they were established in the middle of their project, maybe bar Arsenal. But I'm hopeful for Aston Villa. I really am, for this coming transfer window, as you know me, and I think that we can close the gap, because we're not a million miles away from the majority of clubs in the Premier League, as we've shown a lot of times this season. And when I say majority of clubs, I don't think we're a million miles away from Leicester. I don't think we're a million miles away from even Manchester United. It's really just Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, I think, with the class of players, and Liverpool's squad isn't getting any younger either. So that's where I've come down on this, is that yes, they had fantastic players that would pass the ball around, but they're seasoned, and they all have been you know, cherry picked to play that system too as well. And Aston Villa will get there at some stage too.
Yeah, Max, again, I come back to the graphics popping up on the Sky Sports screen. I feel like every time the graphic about the clean sheets, and Martinez is so close to getting his clean sheet records, we go and concede. I discount the first goal. I think it's good play, although there's obviously things Villa could have done better. But a rare mistake from Martinez again, isn't it? No, I'll say again, he's barely made a mistake all season, but he just shouldn't be coming for that, should he?
Yeah, I think the only sort of game or mistake I can remember him having was the West Ham game, where he made a couple in the last 10 minutes. But apart from that, look, he's been our probably best player this season, so you can't have a go at him too much. I saw a few people having a go at Mings for that second goal, but absolutely no chance. I just think, Martin, you could hear the call, I think, when you were watching it live, you could hear the call from the goalkeeper saying keepers or whatever, but he was just nowhere near. And I think it's just that lapse of concentration just wasn't quite going to get there. But yeah, look, it was his fault. It was a rare mistake. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? And that, I think it was just out of our reach at that point. Okay, when they went down to 10 and we made the change at half time, which I think was a sensible one. I think we haven't seen. Yeah, we've only seen sort of 5-10 minutes of Keenan Davis. I thought it was something different to go two up top, him and Watkins at half time. I quite like that. It's just something different, isn't it? Because if you bring on Keenan Davis with 10 minutes to go, you bring on El Ghazi with 20 minutes to go, it's the same, and we know it doesn't work. So I rated the changes at halftime. I thought Jacob Ramsey didn't have too much of an impact on the game, went off at halftime, but it was no worse than Ross Barkley when he came on, who frustrated me and probably a lot of other Villa fans as well, because he's just so frustrating to watch. I think that was an occasion towards, it might have been, sort of 15, 20 minutes to go, where there was a ball played down the line, and it's his man who's gone running, and he's seen him, he's turned and seen him run, and does he go and sprint after him? No, he just sort of just stands there, and it's just so frustrating to watch, because you've got a player like Ross Barkley, and he's come from Chelsea, and he should be proving a point. There was all this talk about him in the England squad at the start of the season, Dino saying he would get him in there, but when he's playing like that, Dino hasn't got a chance. And I don't want to seem like I'm picking on Ross Barkley, but I don't think anyone was good tonight, but he's just one of them that stuck out to me.
I just thought he was I don't think on the ball he was any worse than any other Villa midfielder, if I'm being honest. But if you're asking him to trap men, it's never ever been his game. It's never been something that he's done. To be honest, I thought it was quite strange bringing him on to play on the left. I'm not sure that we were ever going to get anything different from making that substitution. But as I say, on the ball, I thought midfield was quite lacklustre with the ball at their feet all night. Sending off, Neil, the John Stones sending off, I mean, it's 1,000% a red card for me. I mean, Kyle Walker got away with one. I don't think it was a red card, but he knocked Ramsey over in the first half as well, and I couldn't believe that didn't get given as a free kick. The refs looked at it. Pep's gone wild, probably talking about juggling balls in Spanish about the officials, but it's a red card every day of the week. I mean, I've had 2 players sent off in my fantasy team this weekend, Dawson and Stones, so yeah, it was typical of that, but at the time, I didn't really mind.
Absolutely, definite red card. Definite red card. I can't remember who got the road for. Basically, whoever was playing Spurs or playing Man City last week, and they referenced it in commentary as well. Got the road for something very, very similar. So I thought it was a red card. In actual real time, I thought it might have been a red card the way that he caught him as well. And I thought it was a bad tackle at the very least.
Always looks worse on the slow motion.
It does. I think it was just the area of the pitch or something. The fact that Jacob Ramsey had a run in him that I kind of felt when he tackled him. I went, I think this is a red. And then I kind of convinced myself that the ref was going to bottle it because he was a bit reactive, I think, throughout the course of the game tonight. But
that strange free kick in the first half where he waited about 10 seconds until the Man City player rolled around a bit and then decided it was a free kick. Okay, that was weird.
Yeah. There was a couple of those ones, all right, where he looked for the reaction. Laporte, where Konza goes up and heads in their area. Konza goes up. Yeah, he had his arm out, but he was off the ground. Laporte wasn't. Laporte then goes down, holding his face, and he gives a free out. So little things like that. But look, he wasn't the reason we lost. But it was a definite red card, absolute definite red card for me. Once you see it back, I think he had no decision to make other than the one that he made.
Yeah, and we had the positive changes, you say, Max. We hit 2 up front, which again are the same. I thought that was a really good call. And Keenan perhaps should have done better from the Ross Barkley corner. I might be getting the timeline out of whack here. I can't remember. I think it was before the sending off, but Barkley whipped in a pretty good corner. I would say, well, to be honest, it's been about a year since we whipped in a good set piece. We haven't put a good set piece in for a good few months, and perhaps should have done better with that header.
Yeah, it did it the first man, but luckily the first man was Keenan Davis. So yeah, it was a difficult one, wasn't it? Because it was sort of a flick header. But yeah, it was a difficult one with Keenan Davis. Unfortunately, against a side like Man City, he's not going to get all that many chances. I'd like to see him get that sort of chance against a lesser side, maybe if he comes on half time against Albion on Sunday, something like that. But going on the sending off, I thought the John Stones one, it looked worse in normal time because just the force that he goes in, there's absolutely no need to do it, especially where he is on the pitch. He's on the halfway line. Okay, Villa on the attack and Man City haven't got too many bodies back, but it was just bizarre why he's gone in like that in such force as well. But I'm sure we'll come on to the Matty Cash one as well, which is pure stupidity from him.
Yeah, I mean the Super League clubs don't like clubs like Villa having any advantage, and Villa, to be honest, did them a favour. Matty Cash, didn't they, Neil? And it's a silly sending off, and from that point on, you just think, well, it's going to fizzle out and they're going to win 2-1, and that's exactly what happened. It's strange for Matty Cash because I don't really associate him with being rash.
It was the positioning once again in the field where he gives away the free. That's the thing that gets me. So the first one, yeah, he gets booked in the 53rd minute. To be honest with you, I don't even remember what he got booked for in the 53rd minute. I don't even really remember that call. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that one was. But the second one, I guess Foden does have the freedom of the left flank to himself, if he gets past Matty Cash. But, you're fouling him in his own half. You've just been yellow carded. For me, it was it was a lapse of lapse of concentration. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to call it a lapse of concentration from him. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he thought he'd get away with it with it fouling him in that part of the field, but he didn't, and he got red carded. And I'm sure. Look, he's a big boy. He's not one to shy away from it. He didn't shy away from it when he gave away the penalty against Harry Kane, which was. It was just one of those ones, another bizarre penalty that has been given against Aston Villa. But I'm sure he won't shy away from this, and he's going to come out. I'm sure we see something on Instagram before the end of the night tonight. And once again, Matty Cash being sent off isn't the reason that we lost this game, but it might be the reason we didn't draw it or win it. So I think that I think I'm probably being overly optimistic or too overly kind of fair to him there, because it was such a City challenge. But you come up against Manchester City, and it was a strange type of a game that was played tonight. And Matty Cash getting sent off, as I say, isn't the reason we lost, but it is the reason that we didn't draw or win this game tonight.
Yeah, it kind of stopped us from really troubling them and giving them a game. The extra man, obviously, it's something you could take advantage against Man City. You need every advantage you can get against them, but we kind of lost any momentum that we had, didn't we, Max, when he went off?
Yeah, 100%. I think, when they go down to 10, you're thinking, okay, we might have a chance here. And I know Villa, since we got promoted, when the other team goes down to 10, you're thinking, okay, right, they're just going to win this now because we just can't function against 10 men. But yeah, as fans, when we go down to 10, you think, right, okay, that's it. So if we're thinking that the players are going to think that as well. And it was silly, and hopefully he'll learn from it, because why he's going to ground like that when he's nowhere near the ball? He's probably just frustrated with Phil Foden because he's running rings around him, which is fair enough. But going down to ground like that is just bizarre. But looks like, I don't know, would you bring in Elmo for next game? Or no, Kessler's been doing well in the youth sides, hasn't he? So he might get a chance, which might be good to see. But against Albion, who knows?
At this point, I'd probably be playing Kessler, just because I think he's going to get into the Villa first team and around it at some point. We know Elmo's probably not going to be here next season. That's the annoying thing for Cash, him not being there on Sunday, because we could do with a win. The season is fizzling a little bit. I mean, okay, we've lost the last two games to Liverpool and Man City. It's certainly no crisis. It's no disaster. But the season is petering out a bit. And West Brom, they have to win on Sunday. They're doing well at the moment. They've won the last couple of games, I think, and they've looked quite good. They've got some handy players, but they're coming up against us now as not the favourite, but they're the ones that have got that little bit of momentum now. So Villa have already got the best player missing. We don't need anyone else missing, let alone Matty Cash has been so consistent all season. So I think the more annoying thing is that he won't be there on Sunday now playing against West Brom, because that is going to be a tough game now. I mean, I'd love to carry on talking about the game tonight, but actually after the point of the sending off, I don't remember too much else happening that we could discuss. So we go to Sunday now, Neil, and West Brom, as I say, they've got a little bit of momentum, and Villa are kind of dwindling a little bit.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what to expect on Sunday. I would expect something a small bit more attack-minded than what we got tonight. I would go with Kanehead and Kessler. I really like the look of him. I've watched more under 23s and under 18s football over the last 6 weeks than I have in quite a while, just because of the brilliant coverage that they've had, really, with the Villa Foundation stuff. It was really good. And
it's been good.
I might be a magpie to them, because whenever I watch them, or because I've been watching them more and more recently, they haven't been winning that much recently. But there's been some good performances there. That's the thing. Louis Barry has been playing really well up there. We've been seeing Wesley get a couple of minutes. I don't think he's going to be fit and in there for Saturday. You never know, though. He could be. He might be on the bench. Might be a bench option here, because this is a kind of a team that we could do with a bit of a bully up there, to bring on for 10, 15 minutes. But might be a bit too early for him. But I know I'm probably being a bit knee-jerk, but I probably would play. I would like to see Kanehead and Kessler against West Brom. I think it's a good game for him. As you said, Elmo may not be here next year. You'd have to think he isn't going to be here at 34 years of age. With the demographic, the age demographic of the rest of the team. And I know you need leaders, but you're also going to need to rely on the kids coming up through the youth system too. And he's one of the more coveted players in our youth system, Kanehead and Kessler. So, this is the type of game you can bring him in, because I know we need a win for our morale, but we also need to start seeing what these guys can do, and I guess West Brom, I think, is a good opportunity for a right back like that, because there is plenty of experience in that back four as it is, and I'd be all for playing him there. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got nothing to play for really now this season, and you're bringing him into a defence that's been pretty settled all season, that knows what they're doing. It's not like you're sending him into a car crash situation where the defence is all over the place. I think it's a good time to play him on Sunday. I'm like you. I don't think Elmo's going to be there next season. I think it would be a good one to put him in. Let's see what he's all about. Let's see if he sinks or swims against a team that's probably going to be relegated. Yes, it's a local derby, but I really think it's probably a good one to throw him in. Max, anything that impressed you tonight that you'd like to talk about? Anything going into Sunday?
Anything that impressed me? Probably not based on that. I think Conser was good again. He always finds himself in the right place at the right time, doesn't he? He's always there to make a clearance or make a block. Mings is always the one who sort of goes out to make an impression, and Conser's always there sweeping up, making clearances. So I think he was a positive tonight, but the Albion game does worry me a tiny bit. I think it is a little bit late for their sort of resurrection with the last 2 wins. I think that Chelsea one where they won 5-2 at Stamford Bridge, that was just a freak result. Okay, they were brilliant, but they beat Southampton 3-0 as well in their last game, so they're coming into a little bit of form. So it will be a difficult one, especially they've got a point to prove. Okay, like I said, I think it's a little bit too late for them, but they've just got to go for it now. And like you said, we haven't really got anything to play for. So I think West Brom will be the side probably most up for it, but like it's a local derby, isn't it? So we never know, and hopefully we can get the much needed win.
Yeah, I'm pretty concerned because I feel like the last 3 times I've watched West Brom, they've won, which is a little bit of concern. Obviously, the first time watching this season probably was against Villa when we won, but we're just a bit of a different outfit to what we were. Then that was when we really had the momentum. That was when we really looked a good side. We were probably everyone's second team at that point because we were such a good watch, Neil. But it's kind of, we're going into this one on Sunday now a little bit concerned, like Max says.
Yeah, we're concerned because no one wants to really admit that the year is fizzling out. I know that's a classic Dolan term that he didn't want the league to fizzle out, but and I certainly didn't want to admit it. But
there's still time to pick it back up.
There absolutely is. There is. So, and that's what I'm getting at here is that a result against West Brom could kick it off again, and 50 points is a result for this club. Absolute 100% is 50 points is a massive haul for this club this year, regardless of what happens. And the win against West Brom puts us 1 win away from 50 points. So I think we need to go home for this game and just kind of play for it, play for this game and try and play ourselves into a small bit of form. Dean Smith was big about that around the turn of the year as well, about playing ourselves back into form. And that's why he was giving people like Ross Barkley more and more minutes, even though everybody was calling for him to be dropped. So, let's go out and go at it. And I'm not worried, as you said. I wouldn't be worried about this game, and even if we did lose, I wouldn't be too worried about it because the initial goal of safety is there. But I think for the club and for the players themselves and for Dean Smith that they have to win it themselves. They have to win it because it's going to be one of the few chances that I think that they will have in the run-in for them to go and put on a show. Want to put on some sort of show, I think. And what better time to do it than in Derby?
Yeah, bloody hope we do win on Sunday. We've got to wait for it as well. I've got to wait all through the weekend to get to that point of playing that game as well, such as the way the fixtures are nowadays. I think that does us for tonight's show. Thanks ever so much. I can't even talk anymore. It's getting late. Thanks ever so much to Max and thanks ever so much to Neil for joining us on the Villa View post-match point this evening in association with Purity. Don't forget, if you go and use the code #VillaView, you'll be able to get 10% off all those Villa kegs, all the Villa glasses, all the Villa stuff that Purity do, and all their other excellent beers and ales and drink paraphernalia as well. So yeah, use that code #VillaView and you'll get yourself 10% off. Probably be doing a match preview as well at some point before the weekend. You'll have noticed we've banned Dolan from the show tonight because of his terrible internet connection. So if he can get that sorted, he might be joining us again, but he's on a bit of a sabbatical at the moment until he gets his internet sorted, because last night was an absolute disgrace. Thanks again to the guys and thanks to you guys for watching as well. Only one thing left to say: up the Villa.